major programs, the major manifestos of the APC in Ekiti? For I would like the electorate to hear that.
We are a progressive party, and all over the world, you know what progressive stands for, particularly in Nigeria. Ours is to make life comfortable for the citizenry. And if you are going to make life comfortable for the citizenry, there are some core areas of human endeavor which you have to pay attention to. And majorly, we want to put food on the table of our people. Be making sure that whatever you do, your daily endeavor, you are comfortable with it, and you realize your daily bread. In other words, the government is going to make a conducive environment where business activities will thrive, where people will be comfortable with whatever they are doing. This translates to better life for the majority of our people in Ekiti State. We look at the area of education, we look at the area of commerce, we look at the area of agriculture, and we look at the area of human capital development, which I believe we are going to do properly more than what is on ground. When all these things are put together, then dividends, the most awaited dividends of democracy, will now come to. Those are the core areas in which we are going to exhibit our expertise. At the end of the day, a typical Ekiti person will be proud to be an Ekiti man.
Sir, with the incessant complaint of poor funding from the federal allocation to Ekiti, because many people believe that the allocation being given to Ekiti is low compared to other states like Lagos, Rivers, and co.
We know how to plan. Everything depends on planning. You can't compare us with Rivers or Lagos State because those people are contributing immensely to the revenue generation of this country. But our own level too, what we get from federation account and what we can generate internally will be judiciously used. We will not be doing what we will not be able to finish. It's a civil service state, I agree. Wages and salaries are very, very key. We cut our clothes, not even up to our size. We will cut it according to the cloth that we have. If you say we want to cut it to our size, we will sew up to our fingers, and at the end of the day, we will be biting more than we can chew. We won't do that. We prioritize our engagement with the people, and at the end of the day, we will be comfortable. So allocation, either big or small, depends on the way you plan it. If you apply it wisely, you will achieve the result at the end of the day. If you don't, no matter the amount of money given to you, you will squander. And at the end of the day, it will be you don't have. Which is the order of the day now. We try to avoid some of these pitfalls in administration to have what our people could believe to be the best for them. Yeah.
What people could believe is the best for them. Our condolences on the recent campaign album that led to the shooting of some persons, and we are glad that at least the APC camp has been able to manage the crisis so well and try to take care of the people. So, can you give us a little insight into what actually happened that day?
I may not be ready to do that because the whole episode is still with the police, and not until they come out with their report whether it was happening. It's either who arranged it or somebody from outside. You report on the place because the protagonist happened to be a policeman who shot the gun. That was why I said the police will have a lot of information to give us. But thank you for passing sympathy and condolences to us. We thank God that up to now, those who sustained one degree of injury or the other are recuperating very well in their different places.
On the final note, sir, what's your advice to the electorate in their behavioral conduct?
To conduct themselves under the available law and order and instruction. The electorate should note that they will sleep on their bed as they prepare it. In the last 3 years in this state, it has been up and down. It has not been rosy for the populace. In a situation where government is winning 8 months' salary, they go back to Egypt or try to come to Canaan, the land that is flowing with milk and honey. That is what APC represents. We take care of them, we put food on their table, we organize security, that everybody will go to bed with their eyes closed. Unlike what is happening here presently. So these are some of the reasons why I'm appealing to the populace that they should consider APC and vote for them. And also, we will guide our loins too. See to it that the election is not weak. That is basic. In this wise, the INEC should try as much as possible to be seriously alert to their duties, little the security people. On our part as political party, we will make sure we protect and we guide.
All right, thank you very much, sir. I hope in subsequent period we will have to come to your office to interview you, sir. Okay, sir. This Citizen Information Network, EkitiDecides, July 14, 2018. Electorate, the chairman says, conduct yourself in the best possible way, according to electoral law. We'll be right back after this break.
Welcome to our live broadcast, Citizen Information Network. And of course, my name is Tweetwe Ayenowan. With a ratio right now from our Lagos studio. And of course, during the course of this broadcast, we shall connect to bring you the live debate happening in Ado Ekiti. As we've reliably heard from our correspondents who are in the venue of the debate, some candidates are not present in the debate, and we've heard that we've been reliably informed, of course, I should say, that we do not have the PDP candidate and also the candidate for APC, talking about Dr. John Kayode Fayemi and Professor Olushola Kolapo Eleka of the PDP. They are not in the venue of the debate. But of course, we have Abiodun Aluko of the Accord Party and also Segun Adewale of ADP, and of course the candidate from the Social Democratic Party. They are all present in the hall as we speak, and the debate is on already. But just quickly, we should let you know also that with a debate has taken place before now by 3:30 p.m. 3 p.m. Nigerian time, and in that debate we had candidates from other political parties, of course, other political parties in the contest, and it was a very heated debate as they discussed on issues bordering on education, infrastructure, and of course the economy of Ekiti State. Should you don't know, Ekiti State is one state in Nigeria one of the so many states in the Federal Republic of Nigeria that relies on government pay, federal allocation, and all the rest, because it's a civil servant state. You have seen some of our videos when we brought you discussions and our coverage before now. We interviewed the chairman of the All Progressive Congress in Ekiti State, and also that of PDP, and also indigenous of the state speaking on their expectation and their preferred candidate come July 14th, 2018. That is this Saturday, the day after tomorrow, although it depends on where you watch us from. And people have really commented on this. But during our visit to Ekiti State, we've also discovered that Ekiti State has no industry. It relies so much on federal allocation.
This, of course, is going to bring down the insecurity in the state, and we are going to provide jobs for our youths so that they do not look into the other direction of trying to kidnap people. They are gainfully employed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Biodun Aluko of the Accord Party, on how he will tackle the security challenge that Nigeria is facing right now. Now to you, Mr. Ayegbusi. There is a system in place right now as far as the farmers herders clashes is concerned in Ekiti State. Will you retain that system that seems to have brought about some level of peace as far as that security challenge is concerned, or do you have a better way of tackling that problem, not just the herdsmen crisis, of course, but of course other areas of security?
I think I have a more radical approach to it than what we presently have. But my experience with the Fulanis, because I grew up in the north, if you give them an inch, they take a mile from you. Ekiti land is for Ekiti people. It's our ancestral land and it belongs to us. We're farmers, so we can't afford to share our land with cows for whatever reason. So we will not give any of our land for ranching. We will not give any of our land for we will not lease out any of our land for Fulanis, for ranching. It's not allowed, because over time it will still result to crisis. And just like we are having in Benin, Taraba, Adamawa and all that, it started gradually by just giving a little opportunity, and it resulted to something else. So I don't want to have a major crisis on my hand. And like on the issue of kidnappers and all that, if the youth are gainfully employed, there is employment, there is underemployment, there is underemployment. So, but when they are gainfully employed, that is employment to the optimum. We won't have issues of kidnapping and all that. But on my own, I think when we come to government, what we want to do as much as possible, we'll mobilize the locals to watch. Everybody needs to be their neighbor's keeper. So everything strange, because it's actually a problem that has come to stay, whether we like it or not. And it's gradually moving, because the middle belt is almost decimated already. So Ekiti being a major homogenic environment, I think whatever has to be done as much as possible, we retain what we have now and we review it. So, but like I said, a more radical approach to it, that any form of herdsmen is going to be allowed in Ekiti as much as possible to guarantee the safety of our lives and our farm. in the short run and in the long run.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Akinloye Ayegusi of the SDP, the Social Democratic Party. Let me come to you, candidate of the Action Democratic Party, ADP, Mr. Segun Adewale. Herdsmen farmers clashes is not the only problem that Nigeria is having. There's kidnapping, there is cultism, there's ritual killing. More and more young people now believe that they have to go the way of rituals to make money. How do you plan to tackle this security challenge?
Okay. Well, I'm not really bothered with what is going on now, because the government of the day have done well in that regard. The only thing I know we need to do more is invest more in securing the lives and property of our people by making adequate provision for quality infrastructures. Like most of the vehicles they are using are dilapidated. Even most of the police stations are dilapidated too. The cells are bad, smelling. We need to invest more, to secure the lives and property of our people by investing more money. The police are not really motivated in any way. I've seen them so many times, talked to them so many times. Some have even complained that the governor is not really spending the security votes adequately. That some of them are supposed to be paid X amount of naira and not being paid. So what we need to do more is to invest in human capital, make people happy, rather than investing too much money in capital projects. So if we invest in our policemen, we give them quality equipment, fine, they perform well. But I've not seen too much of kidnapping in the Ekiti state. All we just need to do is to motivate the DSS, motivate the policemen. That's all. And they work well. Their vehicles are rickety already. The police station, you see portals in the police stations. The tables, the benches are bad. The cell is smelling. So we need to just make sure if you are earning the security votes, you should spend it judiciously on what is meant to be. But the reverse is the case right now. The police are not taken care of. But by God's grace, when we get there, we'll do the right thing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Segun Adewale of the Action Democratic Party, talking to us about what you will do in tackling the security challenge in Nigeria. All right, moving on now. There are two other issues that are very, very important to Nigerians: healthcare delivery, and of course, other issues that we hope that we'll be able to raise here tonight. Let's look at health. Nigeria's burden when it comes to maternal and infant mortality is extremely high, about the third in the world. As a matter of fact, over 400 of every 100,000 mothers die in the process of wanting to give birth. That is a very, very unfortunate statistic. There are twin problems: the issue of accessibility and, of course, affordability. How much more the quality of healthcare that the average Nigerian gets, whether it is in Ekiti State or in all 36 states of Nigeria. Mr. Biodun Aluko of the Accord Party, how do you plan to make healthcare accessible, affordable, and of course qualitative, not only to mothers or children, but to all people in Ekiti State if you become governor?
Well, we have developed a holistic program towards affordable healthcare service in Ekiti State. Luckily, my deputy is a medical doctor. So we have sat down and we looked at the healthcare infrastructure in Ekiti State, and we discovered that a lot needs to be done in terms of even the health personnel, because there are so many who have been practicing as doctors or nurses for 20-25 years and have never gone back for any refresher course. And most of the hospitals are dilapidated, there are no drugs, and government should do everything it can to make sure that everybody has access to good health care. And the wealth the wealth of a nation is measured by the health of the citizenry. When you have people who are not in good health, then their productivity, of course, will be low. So we are going to make sure that we provide for youths, those who are between the age of 0 and 6 would enjoy free health. Those who are above 70 would also enjoy free health. Those between the age of 6 and 70, government is going to make sure that they enjoy heavily subsidized health care, so that nobody dies unnecessarily because he cannot afford to pay hospital bill. No, because the reason for being government is to make life comfortable for the people. So this is why we are in government, to provide for the people.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abiodun Aluko of the Accord Party. Let me bring this to you, Mr. Akinloye Ayebusi. What will you do to fix the poor, dismal state of health, not only in Ekiti State, but of course, our specific interest is Ekiti State? How are you going to fix that? Maternal health, childhood health, and of course, health for all, affordability, accessibility, and quality.
There was this concept of Abiye health care sometimes in Ondo State. I love it. It's about taking care of mother from prenatal to postnatal, to delivery. So in Ekiti State, what we want to adopt from conception to delivery, it will be free medical care for the women, automatic. And for a start, we will ensure that the age 60 till they pass on will be free medical care for the aged. Also, in every community, we want to have what we call primary health care services in as many communities as possible. Primary health care is preventive health. So to make sure that at the lowest, from very short distances to wherever you live, there will be those doctors that will attend to you. Because we find out that over time now, what killed some of our people is sicknesses that ordinary Panadol could cure. That's one. On the other side, we're looking to do Ekiti States were Christians, so we want to attract as much of these doctors without border, these Catholic people, to come for specialized ailments, so at a very subsidized rate. So on both sides, for the women, that's for maternal women, so it's free for them. It's free for them. Primary health care in every location, that's two. Then for the aged, free. From 60 years and above is free medical care for them. That's the things we intend to do. Then on prescription drugs, we want to adopt, there was a style that one of the administrations in this state adopted. We have different big chemists in different locations. And we have power bikes to deliver drugs to anywhere within 1 hour in Ekiti. So we want to have that back.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Akinloye Ayebusi of the Social Democratic Party there. Now, over to you, candidate of the Action Democratic Party, ADP, Mr. Shegun Adewale.
Okay.
What would be your unique selling point when it comes to providing health care to all in Ekiti State if you become governor?
Okay, thank you very much. I'm an entrepreneur. What I do most is to convert nothingness to money. My emphasis is on on creating wealth. By God's grace, when I have the opportunity, we intend to invest in the health sector by making sure we provide quality equipment. Let me give you an example. In Ekiti State, if you are sick and you need to do an MRI on your knee, on your hand, there's no hospital in Ekiti State that can provide, that have the equipment. How much is MRI? So people have to travel all the way to Oshogbo or go to Ife to conduct the test. It's so sad. That's the point. And so my plan is to make sure we have the equipment, the basic equipment. I'm not talking about too much. The equipment should be basic, like you want to do an X-ray, it's available. MRI is available. You are sick, it's available. That's one. Then two, the rich among us should fund the health sector in conjunction with the government. Maybe through by way of insurance scheme. If you are poor, if it's just 100 naira per year that you are paying, fine. When you are sick, we will take care of you. We will just levy you 100 naira. But the main thing that is germane here now is to take care of the doctors, the nursing, make sure the hospitals that we have, are fenced. Make sure we have security men taking care of the hospital. Making sure we have basic things, basic equipment like MRI. You don't have to travel all the way to Ife just for a test. So.
All right, thank you very much, candidate of the Action Democratic Party ADP, Mr. Segun Adewale. At this point, I would like to give opportunity to our viewers and of course our audience right here to chew on what you have heard from our candidates so far as it pertains to security, education, and of course health. At this point, let's take a short breather. When we come back, we have more questions for our candidates. Stay with us as Ekiti Decides.
Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin aṣòfin àgbà ẹlẹgbẹ́ mi o. Àbá tó wà níwájú mi tí a ó yànnàná lénìí ni pé bá ó ṣe ra bàálù aládàáni fún ẹnìkankan wa láti dáàbò bò wá lórí àwọn ọ̀nà wa tó ti polúkúmuṣú wọ̀nyí. Pàápàá jùlọ pẹ̀lú àwọn ajínigbé tí ń bẹ lọ́tùn lósìn nílùú wa yìí. Ẹni tí ó bá fi ara mọ́ àbá yìí kó sọ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni tòótọ́. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni tòótọ́. Àwọn ẹlẹgbẹ́ mi oníbẹ́ẹ̀ ni ti gbà á wọlé o.
Àmì àwọn oníbẹ́ẹ̀ ni tún ti dé o. Ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ló yẹ kó máa sọ ní gbogbo ìgbà ni.
Kì máa ń ṣe nǹkan tuntun ìmọ̀ tara wọn ni.
Employment is a ticking time left out. Ekiti has that burden just like every other state in Nigeria. Let me begin with, of course, as usual, in alphabetical order, Mr. Abiodun Aluko of the Accord Party. What exactly do you plan to do to create not just jobs, but to provide the enabling environment for a state like Ekiti to actually be one of the shining lights when it comes to jobs? A state that has huge amounts of tourism potential and what have you. You have 2 minutes to respond, sir.
Joblessness has become a very great threat to security and a very big problem to good governance, not only in Ekiti State, but in Nigeria. What I, as the governor, plan to do when I get into office is, one, to make sure that our youths, particularly in terms of human capital development, because most of the youths, they have certificates that they cannot use. Human capital development in terms of skill acquisition, training, empowerment. Number two, we are going to invest in industrial development. The Bank of Industry is there for us. If you have ₦1 billion and you deposit it in the Bank of Industry, the bank is going to give you ₦2 billion. With ₦2 billion, you are going to empower not less than 2,000 youths at an average of ₦1 million per youth. We are going to use our natural resources of agriculture and solid minerals, where we are very, very rich, to make sure that the youths are given opportunities, because not everybody can be given government job. We have to create opportunities for them in terms of providing for their needs, and we will make sure that we create a job search center where anybody can go and look for a job through ICT and so many other facilities that at least it accepts anybody who is not ready to work. There will be opportunity for everybody to get something to do through resource-based.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abiodun Aluko of the Accord Party. This question is to you, of course, the candidate of the Social Democratic Party, Mr. Akinloye Ayegusi. What will you do to change this troubling situation where there are no jobs, not only for the teeming population, but especially the youth?
I mentioned earlier when I said that we will change our educational curriculum from being knowledge-based to entrepreneurially based. The biggest economy in the world is America. And what do? Small businesses. So we want to create an enabling environment for the youth to access loan, government-backed guaranteed loans to do businesses. And when we come to power, our emphasis will be to the youth to say, I want to de-emphasize white-collar job. What can we do for ourselves? What can I do for myself? What opportunity, what trade can I do? So we'll make funds available. And how do we get these funds? There are a lot of international organizations that we have relationship with that we intend to attract to come to Ekiti and get pool of funds from them as to be given to artisans, and small businesses, so that they can spring up in different locations. And the way economy works is such that everyone that are invested in an economy, the multiplier effect of it has a way of regenerating. So what we intend to do practically is to, as much as possible, encourage our youth to go into business. The emphasis of our administration is actually the youth, because as a matter of fact, we're sitting on a time bomb at the moment. If we have over 65% of the population as youth and jobless, then we are taking a very, very, very dangerous risk. So what we intend to get the youth out of the streets or to get them employed is to encourage them to do business by getting them access to long-term loans to do whatever kind of business they want to do, and encourage them, train them in entrepreneurial skill and money management.
All right, thank you very much. You still had 15 seconds or so to go.
I run businesses. I know how to create wealth. Ekiti people should give me the opportunity to run, to govern. We will create wealth. We will create businesses. We will create opportunities. We will bring investors to Ekiti. We will create an enable environment. People will come. The PDP candidate, professor, PhD war, the APC, professor teaching in OAU. There be any salaries. They've not paid anybody salaries before. They can't even boast of paying salaries. I've been paying salaries for the past 22 years. So so I can do it. It's not a big deal. So what we need to do in Ekiti State is create an enable environment. Investors will come. Make sure you give them tax exemption. Make sure you fix the energy. Energy is the issue. In Ekiti, everywhere there's darkness. From 6 p.m., darkness. In going for the past 9 years, no light. So that's the point. Create an enable environment. Bring in renewable energy. It's going to cost us $3 million per industrial zones. We're going to have industrial parks in the 3 senatorial districts where we generate power with just $3 million. That's about $1 billion. Because $1 million is about 360 million naira times 3, about less than 1 billion. And we spend about 14 billion constructing a bridge that leads to nowhere. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Shegun Adewale. No clapping, please. No sound from the audience. Please be reminded. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. The candidate of the Action Democratic Party there. All right. Since Mr. Adewale mentioned electricity and the fact that there is darkness everywhere, well, as a matter of fact, it's not only Ekiti that can say that. Let me take you up, gentlemen, on the issue of electricity. Is there a way at all that you can actually fix that problem, especially with the present structure of the power or the energy sector as it is right now? Candidate of the Accord Party, Mr. Abiodun Aluko.
Yes, the issue of electricity, though it's the federal government that is mainly responsible for provision of electricity, but we in Ekiti State, we have dams that we can, through which we can generate electricity. We have the Egbe Dam there, we have the Ero Dam there, and we have Ashijire, we have this Agilos one in Ado-Ekiti here. So the issue, and then we even have, we can go into waste to generate electricity. Equally, these days, solar energy is there. But it's a matter of political will by the government and prioritization. Because without energy, there can be no industrialization, there can be no business. So energy is very important, and government is going to ensure that we do what we call either strategic alliance with the service providers for electricity or public-private partnership, because it is beyond a state government to single-handedly generate electricity on its own. We are going to bring in experts from all over the world. We are going to go into synergy with them to provide electricity. The Chinese now, they do it, they provide the electricity and you pay. It's either through solar energy or through hydro or through gas. So that if the people are faithful enough in paying as at when due, I mean, there are businessmen all over the world who are ready to come to Nigeria to help us. So Ekiti State is going to take advantage of this international cooperation in providing electricity for our people. It is doable.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abiodun Aluko of the Accord Party. Now, this is to you, of course, Mr. Akinloye Ayebusi of the SDP. Will you be able to have what it takes to actually control, as far as power is concerned in Ekiti State, especially with the present structure of the country?
What we presently have in the country is such a very difficult terrain power. I mean, generating it from the state. Now, because even when you are bringing in foreign investors to invest in your power, there are a lot of regulatory issues involved. So, but for a start, as a palliative to augment this, the pressure and the stress that the electricity of 1 hour per month, 1 hour is as bad as that. Some places will tell you that they've not even had light for 4 years. I've gone all over Ekiti State, and those are the testimonies I hear every day. So one of those things we intend to do immediately, that's what we call step down power. When you step down, ordinarily it's supposed to be installed by the discos, but for scarcity of funds on their part, that's what they will tell you. So immediately bring what we call step down. That is those powers that generate, those power line that passes through Ekiti, will step down power from there and generate electricity. So what that does to you is that it ensures that anything above the normal wattage is cut off, but the power comes to the people. And as a matter of urgency, we need to discontinue with Benin Disco. We have Kwara, we have Benue, we have Kogi. The electricity is better than what we're getting from Benin Disco. So we do that step down. It's costly, but we invest in it. We get it done. Over time, we recoup our money. Also, for places like our tourism sector, like Ikogosi and places like that, we attract foreign investors to either come do renewable energies, because when you look at those terrain there, it's very, very comfortable and conducive for renewable energy. So we'll give them the enabling environment to come so that we can have 24 hours light and to use that again to generate money, because it's an income. At some point, they were making as much as 45 million naira per month for Mikogosi, but now we're making 1.5, because whatever it is that is made is used to buy diesel and whatever we have.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Segun Adewale, you already raised the issue, so we'll let this pass. I know you have something to say, but would like to crave your indulgence so that we can go on to the next session, which has to do with a rebuttal. Like I told you gentlemen earlier, before we started the question and answer session, we would like for you to seize the opportunity to ask either gentleman, of course, all three of you can ask either one, any question that you think is a burning issue as far as the issues we have raised here tonight: security, job creation, health, and of course the issue of power. You have direct questions to ask. Please do that, and we'll leave that to your discretion to decide what question you want to ask and who you want to ask. Let me start with you, Mr. Abiodun Aluko of the Accord Party. Who do you have a question to ask tonight? Do you have a question for either gentleman?
That you should ask me a question?
Yes. Do you have any question for them? Maybe on the issues they raised already?
For either of the two of them?
Either of them.
No, I have no question to ask.
You have no question?
To ask from them.
Okay. So you're satisfied with every thing they have raised concerning security, job creation, and all of that?
The other candidates?
These two gentlemen here.
These two gentlemen?
Yes, please.
I don't have to take them up on their own program. It's mine that is important to me.
All right, let me move on. Mr. Segun Adewale, is like you're curious to... yes.
On the issue of power, very, very important, because you didn't allow me to talk.
I want a rebuttal. I'm sure you all listened to what you had to say about the different areas, the core areas that we asked questions tonight. And I'm sure that you're curious to get more meat out of what either gentleman has said tonight. Do you have any such question in the area of security, in the area of...
No, just for... I think you didn't even allow me to say anything about power.
Okay, let me give you that opportunity then.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yes, because I believe that with power, we will change the status quo in Ekiti. Because even if you provide an enable environment, how will businesses come all the way from Lagos? Because we have the same terrain with Osun State. How people travel all the way to Ekiti? But with power, with renewable energy, we have done study about. I met people. I met partners that are willing to come to Ekiti and give us energy through gravity. It's going to cost $3 million. It will generate about 10 megawatts that can power the entire Ado. 10 megawatts, just $3 million. So, sir, it is possible to have 10 megawatts with $3 million through partnership. There are businesses abroad. They are trying to come to